Welcome to Insight Timer, your client and income oasis. That's kind of how I see it, really. It's a lovely place to be spending my time. So first of all, just let me know if you are familiar with Insight Timer. I'm going to stop the share temporarily so I can see the comments. But are you familiar with Insight Timer, either as a teacher already or as a participant, a user? So we've got a few people. No, not really. I will be emailing the recording, yes, to everybody who's yes as a user, yes as a user. Yes, I saw you as a user, Jane. We'd done the same meditation, or we'd meditated at the same time or something. Heard of it? Yeah. Starting to find your way around as a teacher. Brilliant. People who use it daily as participants. Brilliant. It is a lovely app. So it looks like most of us are either we've used it. Helen, you're already a teacher on there. Brilliant. But most of us are not. Somebody's starting to go through the teacher application. That's the first hurdle with Insight Timer is the application. Fantastic. So I'll share a little bit about Insight Timer itself to give you a bit of the background, because it's as I'm seeing in the comments, a lot of people are not familiar with it yet. So Insight Timer was started in 2009, and the app works on what's called a freemium model, which means that there's absolutely loads of free content on there, which if you're a user already, you will have seen. There's loads of meditations, there's loads of talks. I've got an absolute ton of no, the presentation's not up at the moment, Sarah. It's just me talking. I'm going to bring it on and off throughout the talk. So the app works on this freemium model, loads of free content. I've got loads and loads of free content. And then there is a paid window that you can go through. And the paid window is $60 a year. So it's quite, if you think about things like Mind Valley and things like that, that are much more expensive than that. The amount of content that's actually on there is amazing for the price. So the paid window for participants is $60 a year. There is no fee to be a teacher on there. So that's the first massive bonus. And there's not just meditation on there. There's just about everything that you can imagine to do with well-being. So, for example, there's all different types of healing. There's Reiki, there's breath work, there's lots of physical health stuff. I know there's nutritionists now teaching on there. There's yoga classes. There's just about everything and anything. So pop in the chat what it is that you do or what kind of things you share. And I'll quickly kind of go down those comments and see and let you know kind of what things, whether your thing is going to be okay on there, whether it's going to be something you can do. Meridian therapy. Oh, I have never heard of that, but I imagine it's completely and utterly possible to do that. Coaching, yeah. Helping people to learn to write, yes. Yeah, archetypal mind. There's some great things here. Meditation, definitely. Coaching for overthinking women. Yes, definitely that. Mindfulness, support for grief, coaching. Yeah, definitely. Human design. Yeah, just human design. I think for a lot of us is something we're kind of looking at, and definitely you could start. Yeah, 3 principle stuff. Obviously, that's what I'm sharing on there. 30 days to healthy living, positive mindset mentoring. Yeah, definitely. Motivational poetry. That sounds lovely. Yeah, law of attraction practitioner, definitely. There's lots of law of attraction and stuff. So all those kind of things. I've seen people do all sorts of things to do with chakras, just about everything you can think of. Yeah, self-love's definitely a big subject on there. It's one of their high rating subjects actually on a list that I've got. So it's just about everything that I think the people here share. So there are in fact 25 million participants on Insight Timer, and that is rising by 10,000 a day. So it is a really, really becoming increasingly popular app. There is about 18,000 teachers. So if you think about how many, I haven't worked out the exact ratio of teachers to participants, but you've got a good chunk of people who could be coming in your direction. And the exciting thing is that, well, is it exciting? A lot of those teachers have kind of put some content on there and then they've not done anything else with it, or they've not done any premium content, or they don't do lives. They don't have all the different things in place. So there's a lot of teachers, a lot of those teachers are not active on there. For example, Russell Brand actually has some meditations on Insight Timer, but he's not particularly active on the app. He's not still turning up. He's just kind of put them on there, I think probably to support them with marketing and stuff, but he's not, he's not active. But there are a lot of teachers who are not doing very much on there. And one thing that I really like about Insight Timer is that I feel like they're a company who are on a mission and with integrity. And they really do want their teachers, they support their teachers really, really well. Whenever I have anything that's not working or anything that I have a query about, they're really quick to get back to you. They're really polite, even when a couple of times I've done something naughty that I'm not supposed to do on the app. They're even so polite. They basically tell you that they love you first, and then they kind of say, yeah, but can you just not do that? Like if you were telling off a small child, you'd just be really nice. And they're like that. They're just so lovely. So recently, Christopher Plowman has been posted some great things on LinkedIn. That's where he mostly hangs out. So these are things. So this is a year ago. He doesn't post on a regular basis, not like some of us do. And he shares this kind of stuff. So he's got companies involved. He's got, you can see that's the kind of data that I've just shared with you. That was even a year ago. So there must be more than 25 million people on there now. Now they've got a relationship with Walmart, which is obviously a massive company. Now, whether we believe Walmart's necessarily an ethical company or not, I don't know. But it's huge for the teachers because it means there's a load more people. That means Walmart Plus members, I'm guessing that's something in the US, have access to those courses that we can share on Insight Timer. And therefore they can become people who are accessing our content, which I'll tell you more about how we get paid for that later. So it's a massive win for Insight Timer. You can see here they are really passionate about paying out to their teachers. So that they've paid out $20 million to their teachers. And there's no, I mean, I know about lots of other apps like that, and that, there's not many that are paying out like that to their teachers to provide the content that we provide. And this is about their mission here. This is quite recent, this post, when I screenshotted this. It was last week or maybe the week before. They've employed a new marketing manager, marketing officer, and they are really excited to expand the app to the point where it becomes a household name. So that means that for whatever you're sharing, if you would like what you're sharing to become a household name, then getting onto Insight Timer and sharing it there is going to really increase your reach. And that's something that I know all of us, if we're sharing things that we think help people, we feel really passionate about that, don't we? And we really want to be able to share that with as many people as possible. So, so I'll stop the share for a minute. So well-known spiritual teachers who are on there. Jack Cornfield, these people you may have heard of. Tara Brach, Muji's on there. Sarah Blondin's on there. Glenn Harold, Thich Nhat Hanh, which is a tricky one. And I've mentioned already Russell Brand with these couple of meditations. So I guess you will be, so give me a little thumbs up or something with the reactions if you are familiar with some of those teachers and you've heard of them, or give me an actual thumbs up. Great. So I'm going to share a little bit now about my journey over the last year or so, or maybe the last couple of years, in terms of my business and my move onto Insight Timer. So prior to Insight Timer, I was very, very active on LinkedIn. So I was showing up every day, was posting every weekday, didn't post weekends, although sometimes I did. I was posting every single day of the week at least. I was in a LinkedIn engagement group, which for those that you don't know is where you put your posts into a WhatsApp group and then you have to interact with everybody else's posts and they interact with all of yours. and it was laborious, and it was taking hours a week, you know, composing the posts and getting them out there, finding the pictures, and also finding that I was walking around all the time, like looking at things and thinking, oh, is that a social media post, that picture there? Or, you know, like it's in your head all the time, isn't it? You can't stop thinking about it. Even when you're just out and about living your life, you end up looking at life through this lens of, will that make a great social media post? And it's just not a way to live our lives, I don't think. And I also, on LinkedIn, I did a live stream every morning on LinkedIn at 7:45 for 3 years. Yeah, I saw a wow from Nettie then. For 3 years, which is ludicrous, quite frankly. However, a lot of that content is now my free content on Insight Timer. See, and everything happens for a reason, doesn't it? So I was working really, really hard. And that's, you know, that's not to put too fine a point on it. So yeah, give me a wave if you can relate to that, or pop a yes in the comments if you yeah, my consistency was insane. Yes, I think it was the definition of insanity, actually, Sarah, to be actually fair and honest. Yes, if you can relate to that, yeah, the working hard, the showing up every day, whichever social media platform it is. I was also doing at one point quite a bit on Instagram as well, not so much on Facebook, but definitely both Instagram and LinkedIn quite heavily. And then at the beginning of last year, I was kind of looking at it all and just thinking, I can't carry on like this. It's just not, it's not good for me really to carry on like this. And also it wasn't really bringing the results that I might have wanted it to bring. So in May 2021, I had actually signed up as a teacher on Insight Timer, and I had started to upload these live sessions that I did. And that was a quick job. I downloaded them straight from the live platform from StreamYard and straight up onto Insight Timer. So I had quite a collection of free tracks on there. And I was getting paid about $20 a month from Insight Timer for this free content. And then in April last year, I thought, you know, I'm going to really try and work out how you make money on this app, because I know you can do it because I've heard that other people are doing it. So it must be possible. So I started to explore. So I kind of had a poke around on YouTube to see if there was much there, and there wasn't an awful lot. There was bits and pieces. And then I just started to do things on there. So it's been a bit of an experiment really, but that's kind of been part of what's been nice about it, is that I've been able to work it out as I've gone along, which has been great. So there's a slide here about to show what the impact has been on my business over the last year. So as you can see, my followers, when I really kind of went back onto the app in April, I had 870 followers, and yesterday's count was 2,261. My income from Insight Timer alone, it's just what they're paying me, not the clients I'm getting from there, has gone up from $20 a month to, it fluctuates. The most it's been is 870. Last month, which was actually a quiet month because December is a quiet month on the app, I still got paid nearly $800 last month. My live attendees, I used to get about 5 on LinkedIn on a good day with a following wind. And now I always get over 100 people on my live sessions. My biggest has been 160 people. And those people, a lot of them are interacting and joining in and participating in what we're actually doing on the app, on, you know, what I'm doing on the lives and what I'm sharing. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm connecting with some lovely people. The live sessions are just a beautiful opportunity to share what I believe is helpful to people. People come on with the things they want help with, and you get a chance to actually help people. So you feel like you're making an impact and serving a group of people. And now more of my coaching conversations come from Insight Timer than anywhere else. So it's been an absolutely wonderful, a wonderful journey on there. And I think for all of us, we obviously want to make money doing what we're doing in terms of healing people and helping people, and we want to have, you know, we want to actually make an income out of it. But I think for a lot of us, we kind of want to feel like we're having an impact and that people are seeing what we're sharing and it's helping them in some way. And so these are just a few, and I could have screenshotted a load more today because I've had some lovely ones come through. In fact, a lady actually tracked me down on LinkedIn and thanked me for my course today, which was just lovely. So these are, you can see at the right hand side, that's either a track or a course. So this happiness is a track. 21 Days to Feel Calm, Think Clear is one of my courses. That one about decisions is just a track. So you know, you can see the kind of things that people are writing, and these come through now for me on a sort of daily basis. I regularly get this kind of feedback from people. It's lovely. It's just nice to show up. And Brian, bless him, he's just left me another lovely set of words telling me about one of my courses. Wellbeing, yeah, the truth about anger went down well just after Christmas, I'm afraid, when everybody had been falling out with the families all Christmas. I think it was a good time to release a course about anger, unfortunately. So yeah, I get a lot of this. I get a lot of people on my lives just saying, "Oh my goodness, it's such a relief what you're saying. It's you know, it's making such a difference to me." So that's really wonderful. And you know, I'm going to obviously tell you a little bit about a program that I've got to help you get started on Insight Time, which is called the Insight Timer Incubator. And for me, this is one of the things that you will get is these kind of you know, a move towards getting some kind of feedback from your, you know, from people who are enjoying your content, finding it helpful, and actually how different that is to what it's like sometimes when we put stuff out on social media, and it sometimes feels like is anybody listening? So why might Insight Timer be for you? Well, because you're tired of all these things, turning up and spending hours on social media, endlessly giving away your content for free, and really just sometimes sitting there thinking, does anybody really care anyway? Because I'm putting all this stuff out and nobody seems to be listening. Feeling like you're making no progress despite working really hard, and feeling like frustrated because, you know, as I've said already, we all want to share our gifts, and it can sometimes feel like no one is listening to what we've got to say and what we think will be helpful. So why have I found Insight Timer to be a really great place to be? Well, the first thing is that on social media, people are not looking for your help. I'm sorry to say, folks, but they're just not. They couldn't give two hoots about you giving them any help. They're there to look at their next door neighbour's garden or dinner, or their Auntie Flo, what she did last week and where she went on holiday, and you know, that's what they're really there for. A little bit less than that on LinkedIn. I suppose people are there to do business. But on Insight Timer, the people have gone there because they already know they don't feel okay. They've already had some realization that they would like to feel better than they do right now. So they're if you think about this as a marketing funnel, I don't think about marketing funnels very often, to be fair, but this concept of a marketing funnel, you know, that the people on Insight Timer, they're like further down, they're actually in the funnel, they actually already know that they want some help. They're often already on some kind of spiritual journey, and they really are ready to listen now. They're in that place where they really want some help. That's why they're on the app in the first place. So on the Insight Timer, you are connected really easily with your ideal clients. On when we post on social media, I think the statistics at the moment are about 5% of the people, 5 to 10% of the people who follow you will actually get to see what you post. And I think it's fun. You see somebody you haven't seen for a while, and they start talking to you like you know what they've put on social media. And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because of course, so much of people's content, we don't, even if we're on social media a lot, we will still miss a lot of people's content because only a tiny, tiny percentage of the people who you share things with actually see it, or of your followers or connections actually see it. Whereas on Insight Timer, if somebody has chosen to follow you, Insight Timer respects that. And they tell that person everything that you share. So if you post a new live, if you post a new track, a new course, whatever it is, the people who follow you are told all about that. In addition to that, if you go live, which is a great way to increase your following, everybody on the app is told. So anybody who turns up on the app and on the home screen has the live thing showing up, it will tell them if you're live, even if they don't follow you already. So that's I found that when I go live, almost straight away, I get a load of new followers, because everybody is told about it, and they can then follow you. So, let's talk about the money. So you can get paid, as I've already said, you get paid for content on Insight Timer. So you get paid on 2 different levels. As I've already mentioned, it has this freemium model. So there are free tracks, and you get paid a small amount. So I had quite a lot of free tracks, and I was just getting $20 a month. And then you have premium tracks, and the premium tracks and the courses, which is also premium, that they're the way that you actually get paid the most money. You can also get paid donations when you go live, and you are encouraged, actually, and here's a biggie for a lot of us spiritual people, you are encouraged to ask for money, folks. Which I know can be a little bit tricky for some of us, but you are encouraged. You actually have to commit when you schedule a live. There's a box to tick at the end saying that you're committing to asking for money. So you do have to do that. And it's expected. It's not like it's a big surprise to the audience, because they know that you're going to mention making donations. And donations are fun. I mean, they come in sometimes. I get paid $1.99. I've had a $30 donation. It's all a bit random, is the donation stuff. The lives to me are much more about getting more followers and getting more people to see your content as you share it. So the things you can do on the app, you can share it's all audio apart from the live sessions. So everything is audio apart from lives. So as I say, there are free tracks. So when we're creating free tracks, obviously the sound quality has to be good enough. You don't want it to be, a dog barking in the background or anything distracting like that. But it doesn't have to be quite as high quality as the premium content. The premium content needs a bit of audio, tweaking, or it needs to have a half decent mic like this with a, this is a Blue Yeti with it's got a tap and a pop screen as well. And I find I get pretty good sound quality from that with a little bit of editing. So you do need better quality for the premium content. And then the live sessions. So the live sessions are the bit that's video. And it's just, the whole setup looks very like going live on Facebook or somewhere else, where you've got your face in the middle and your comments are coming up at the side. So there are other things that you can do on the app. You can host a group. I do have a small group, but I don't do a lot with it. It's not like a Facebook group, doesn't have the same functionality. But I'm kind of playing around with that. Obviously, you can get clients from the app. That's something that that I'm getting a lot more of. You can get reviews. You can track your data, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually find that quite fun now. I kind of like, whereas if in the past if somebody had said to me, would you like to go look at your analytics on Instagram or somewhere, I probably would have just run away. But I quite like tracking my data now. You can connect with people and make friends. Quite a lot of people use it as their social media. So they go on there, they make connections with people. They're in groups, or they start little groups. Even people who are not teachers have things like that. And fundamentally, one of the things that I'm really seeing about it is that you can make a huge impact on people, and help people. Sometimes I read my reviews and I'm brought to tears, because people have expressed that one of my little courses has just changed how they're seeing an aspect of their life. I had one lady who posted something about her relationship with her mother that had been awful, and that my course had completely changed it. And that you can't kind of buy that, can you? It's unbelievable. And I've never had anybody tell me anything quite so wonderful about my posts on LinkedIn, unfortunately. So, and the other thing that I think's great about Insight Timer is once you've got the bits and pieces in place, once you've got all the pieces of the jigsaw that I've been talking about, once you've kind of got your profile set up and you've got your first free tracks, and then you can move on to do the lives and the courses. Once you've got all those pieces and you know how they work, then you can start to really follow your intuition. So you can share a course that's really in your heart. You can, share something that you feel passionate about. You can do podcast type sessions. You can do longer sessions. You can do all sorts of different things on there. And you can really start to play about and experiment to create something that's enjoyable to you and that you enjoy turning up for. I love what I do on Insight Timer. My lives on Insight Timer, one of my highlights of my week. I absolutely love doing them. I love creating my courses, and I'm really enjoying playing about with exploring on there and working out what works for me and what's helpful to people. So it can become somewhere where you can really kind of develop your own strategy rather than what we've all done. And don't tell me you haven't. We've all downloaded somebody's 365 days of content for social media at some point, haven't we? And kind of tried to do it somebody else's way. Whereas I think once we get the pieces in place for Insight Timer, we really can kind of play about with it and have a lot of fun working out what works best for us. And that's where I'm just going to stop the share for a moment and have a look at your little faces. So that's where the Insight Timer incubator comes in, because you might have known I've got something to teach you about. And that's I will come on to the questions. And in fact, I'll just quickly share this landing page so that you can see that. Oh, how do I stop presenting? There we go. Right. So this is about so there's a quote there from somebody who's moved on to Insight Timer. So this is about creating the pieces, getting the pieces of the jigsaw together over a 3-month period, so that by the end of that 3-month period, A, you're starting to earn some income from Insight Timer, and B, you've actually got all the pieces together. Sorry, somebody's in the way. All the pieces that you need to move forward and create that intuitive strategy that you really want. So I will pop this in the chat. I'm not going to go through the entire landing page, but it's all about stopping you having to do those things that you're doing now on social media and move into a space. So by the end of the 3 months, you will have all the bits that you need, all these pieces to keep going on Insight Timer and keep experimenting. Right, I'm going to go on to questions. So somebody's asked me in the chat, how many courses do I have out there? Can you define a course? Right, so a course, according to Insight, so I've just released number 14 this week. And I know when we think about courses, we think about some mammoth thing that's taken us 3 months to create or whatever, but it isn't that at all. So my courses are currently mostly 7 sessions long and 5 to 7 minutes per track. So there's 5 to 7 minutes in each track, and there are 7 lessons. And they are all audio, so you don't have to get dressed and do your makeup and have a video on and all that kind of thing. You just can have you can do it in your PJs if you really need to. That's tempting now, isn't it, in the winter? So you don't have to, it's just audio. The only thing that is video is the live sessions. Everything else is audio at the moment. They have talked about doing video, but I've not heard mention of it actually happening. It is all audio at the moment, which is great. So a course takes me, now that I've got a process, it takes me about half a day to create a course. Once I've got the idea and the little seed is planted, then it doesn't take long then. Once it's started to bubble, I'm away and I create it quite quickly. But it's because I've got a process in place now and I know what I'm doing. So how do people find you? That's a good question, actually, Sarah. So in two different ways. So when people come onto the app, if I'm live, they will be told about me, but also it works like a search engine. So if you think about global search, like YouTube and things like that, where your content is evergreen, your content inside time is evergreen. So my anger course, for example, if somebody goes on today and searches for anger, they may well be shown my course. So if it's subject based, can I screen share a search? It'd be better if you did that on the actual app, because on the computer, I tend to go into my back office. Do I have my live sessions also recorded as courses? I don't do, no, Paolo, because what I find with the live sessions is I'm stopping and starting I could go through all that audio from my lives and chop it up and make it into a course. What I have done before is I've had a theme on the lives and I've mirrored that in the course, so that I've had a theme where I've said, right, I'm talking about confidence for the next few weeks, and during the lives I point people to the course. I tend to do it that way around. It's all just audio, Jane. There's no PDFs, no nothing, which is nice in a way because it makes it really simple and there's a lot less work for you to do. Yeah, getting approved as a teacher. I can talk about that, Jane. Yeah, it's a form that you fill in with all your details. If you're doing yoga, you do have to have a certification. But most of the things, as long as you've got some kind of evidence that you are out there doing that in the rest of the world. I think when I applied, I had to provide something else that I was doing somewhere else, like an audio or something like that. You also have to have a decent photo. That's actually the biggest block for a lot of people, is that their photo doesn't get accepted, which is just really strange. It's just got to be a decent quality photo. I mean, my photo that I've got on there was taken on a phone. So it's really not anything fancy pants, but I think most of us got some kind of professional photo, so that would probably be fine. Yeah, so it's a form to fill in, a decent photo. You go through the approval process. The next thing is that you have to create 2 tracks before you can do anything else. And once those 2 tracks have been approved, there's a waiting time of it varies depending on how busy they are, but it can be up to a month for that all to be approved. And when that's all approved, then you have to wait a while those tracks get to a decent rating. So I think it's 4.6 or above. Once those tracks are 4.6 and above and have got a few ratings, then they let you know you can then do lives and courses. You can't do either of those things until you've gone through that first hoop. How long are the lives in general? My lives vary. I have done half-hour ones. I've done hour-and-a-half ones when I've just got completely into the flow and completely forgotten the track, lost track of time, and been having so much fun that I've stayed on there. So it varies. You can make your lives as long. I think the minimum is half an hour. I think the maximum is about 2.5 hours or something like that, if you really want to. But I guess for some of the teachers, some people are teaching yoga and things like that, so they might want longer, or if they're doing like, I don't know. But when you go to schedule a live, there's a lot of different options in terms of that. So how does the payment work? So there's kind of 2 elements on each aspect of payment. So on the free tracks, you get paid per play, plus you get paid for your interactions. So you saw all those testimonials that I showed you. When those come in, you must reply to them. You must keep on top of that. And that means I go in every couple of days. I just go in and make sure I've replied to everything. And it's similar in the courses and the premium tracks. Premium tracks are the same. You must answer the reviews. The courses, there is like a course platform, and on the course platform, people can send you a written message and you can give an audio response, which is really nice actually, because the courses are audio, and then you can really you can give people a really detailed response, which is great, because if obviously you want to help people, if you're showing how you're going to help them by almost coaching them on the course platform, you're showing again your skills and what you can do. So so that's how the payment for interaction is higher than the payment for people listening to your stuff. So the interaction is absolutely key on Insight Timer. They're really keen on it. Yes, Wendy. Yeah, my tracks are 5 to 7 minutes long, and the course has 7 tracks in it. Yeah, at the moment. I mean, I've got some. I've got one that's 21 days long. I've got some that are 10 days long. I play around with it. I think that's part of the experimentation. Is the kind of playing around with the length of courses and the. But because you pay per play, I've kind of realised shorter length lessons are better actually because you paid per play. So if something's 15 minutes and people get a bit like switch off halfway through, you might not get paid for that. Yeah, the quality rating. Yeah, the quality rating is great. Apart from I've got this one track that's called Sleep. A lot of people are on there because they can't sleep. But my track's just about sleep. It's not a sleep meditation. And people think it's going to be a sleep meditation and get very annoyed with me that it's not. And give it 1 star. So I've actually taken it off now because I'm tired of the misunderstandings. So I've just taken it off. Yeah, you do get obviously with everything, like with everything, you get some lovely ratings and you get some weird ones, you know, human beings, that's them for you. So yeah, worldwide audience, I would say mostly there's a big chunk of people in the US, Canada. I would say when I go live at 3:50 p.m. GMT, and most of my audience is US and Canada. And even on my one, I go a bit earlier in the afternoon, about 1 p.m. on a Friday. And again, it's mostly US and Canada. I've done some on a morning here, which has meant I've picked off a little bit of, I've had a few Australian and New Zealanders. So yeah, because you can go live at any time of the day, you can, again, that's something else you can experiment with. If there's a part of the world where you really want to work with those people, then obviously you're going to go live at a time that's appropriate for them. No, Jane, people cannot find the lives afterwards. They are just that you can. So what you can do is you can screen record them afterwards if you want to, or you can screen record them while you're doing them. If you wanted to then put those on YouTube. I did do that for a while, but it just became a little bit laborious to be downloading them all and putting them all onto YouTube. So I stopped doing that. So you can actually do that. You can take them off, and you could, I guess, like Paola was saying, you could audio record them, and then if you wanted to sit around editing all that audio, you could do into little tracks or whatever. But I've never done that. I tend to make the rest of my content other ways. So how long did it take me to build my audience, and how large a share was due to having established audience elsewhere? Was your growth all organic? So that first bit of my audience, the 800 people, I guess I'm going to say a couple of years of just posting free tracks. That took a couple of years. But obviously you can see that the intensity of me turning up on the app more, doing more courses, doing more live sessions has really ramped that up, because obviously it's gone up so much in the last few months, from May last year when I really got active on there to now when it's gone up massively. I don't do anything. I don't promote. I did a bit at the first, put a bit on Instagram, and I just couldn't be bothered with that, so I don't do that anymore. So I don't do anything off the app anymore. I did a bit at the beginning, but I don't. Yeah, so my growth was just based on what I was doing on Insight Timer. However, if you still wanted to stay active on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, or whatever, they do encourage you to share outside the app. They actually kind of suggest that you should. It's just that I've really gone off social media. I've taken all the apps off my phone and everything, so I don't really do that anymore. So the course, do I upload the course all in one go? I do, but you don't have to. So you can, once you've started uploading it, it just stays in your vault, and then you can just keep adding it bit by bit. And then when you're ready, it gives you like 2 warnings. Are you sure you want to submit this? Are you sure you're ready to? And then you submit it, and then off it goes into approval. Everything on the app has to be approved by the Insight Timer gods, as I like to call them. They're lovely though. I remember when I submitted my first course, the audio wasn't quite the quality that they wanted, and they couldn't have done it. They couldn't have done it anymore for me. They bent over backwards to try and get it right for me. The guy even tried editing the audio himself, bless him. And they were, so they were lovely. And that's how I find, like, anybody here tried to contact Facebook customer service recently? Had any luck with that? I mean, I know people who've had their accounts closed down and all sorts. They can't even get hold of anybody to talk to about it. Whereas Insight Timer, they're pretty quick. They reply pretty quick, and they're not massive team. There's about 70 people on the team, so there's not absolutely loads and loads of them, but they are genuinely lovely people. I tell you what I will do. I will shall I show you my back office? It's not personal. It sounds funny, doesn't it? I'll just show you my back office. I'll show you my back office on Insight Timer because I think it's quite nice to see it, because it is it's nice to see so you can see how simple it actually is. So this is my dashboard. So you can see I've got 2,269 followers as of today. So I think I've gained a few since I did that slide. So you can see total plays in the last 30 days, my new followers in the last 30 days, my average rating, my total ratings there. You can just see this is what happened yesterday. So if I wanted to really keep track of what happened according to some action that I took, I can really track this really closely. And you could get really, really sad about data if you wanted to. You were really into that. I have to say, I'm much more into tracking data. I do keep spreadsheets now for Insight Timer, and clearly need to get out more, but I do quite like it. I find it quite interesting. So there's so you can look at over 7 days, 30 days, and yesterday. I won't click on my revenue button, but on my revenue section, there is no, I'm going to do it. So what have I earned? So that's how much I've earned last year. Just on it. It was pitiful before that. It was about $50 or something. So that's what I've earned since May last year with the action that I've taken. And that's until, we just got paid yesterday. I think we got paid. We get paid by PayPal. So it's really easy. And on here, you can actually look at your statements. So if you really want to get analytical and look at what impact you're having, and look at what kind of things are doing well, what courses are doing well, that kind of thing, you can do that in quite good detail there. On each statement, don't think my statement's there. So this must be November's statement, because the one from yesterday is not there yet. So here you can see that the free plays, you can see how many units and so you can see for free tracks, it's not very much at all per play. Premium plays is quite a lot more. Look, 62. I've only had 62. I've not got many premium tracks. They're not my favorite thing. I prefer courses. But then for replying to the tracks, I've replied to 9 reviews, and I've got paid that, because you can see the interaction is the big thing. So here, courses, course plays have been just over 1,000, and that's paid that much, but just 9 interactions has paid $182. So on my courses now, I really do a lot of encouraging people to interact. And then these are donations that have been made either on meditations or on the live sessions. So this is my course section. So I can see in detail for each course. I can see the plays. So this was one that just gradually, I think it's still my most popular course. Yeah. Revealing Your Full Potential with the 3 Principles. That's still my most popular course. However, my anger course that I released just in January, at start of January, that's already got 360 students. That one's been really popular. I've had a lot of interactions on that one. As I say, I think unfortunately that's because everybody fell out with the family over Christmas. So that's the courses. And at the bottom, you can see my latest course down here that's not been approved yet. It's just waiting for approval. That takes about 5 days usually. So here we go. This is the lovely lady that messaged me on LinkedIn, bless her. So these are just a couple of reviews from today. I could go on and on. They're lovely. Oh, there's Brian again. You saw him on the slides as well, didn't you? So he's a happy camper, bless him. Donations that you can sell. So you can see where I've gone live. That's where the peaks are. So when I go live, I tend to get donations. These are all my free tracks. So everything's really easy. Just create a track. You go here. It's a really simple system to go through. Everything's really, really easy to use on here. This is where I schedule my live tracks. my live sessions. And this is where I have, there is a, you need to actually, you need to go into the group through the app. It doesn't really work on here. These are my followers. You can see the peaks in my followers are probably, that's when I've gone live again. It's an interesting line. I could do some more analysis of that, couldn't I? And here's a really great page if you still want to use other social media, this is your promotions page. So all of these, so this is my live that I'm doing on Friday. If I wanted to promote that on social media, you can see there's a link. There's all different places. You can put it straight onto Twitter if you were so inclined. You can message it out to people. You can put it on Facebook, put it on LinkedIn. You can copy it into your link in bio on Instagram if you want to, whatever you want to do, you can do that there. This is your profile. So these are the kind of things you've got to have. You have a bio, you have a link in bio, which is like a link tree type thing here. And then there's just boring things like payment details and stuff like that. Right, let me get back to the chat. How easy and clumsy uploading posters. Yeah, so hopefully, Amanda, seeing that back office, it is really, really simple. It talks you through step by step. What I do on the training is I will provide you with templates, so that what I tend to do is I have a Word document, I kind of plan my course out on there, and I kind of, you can literally drag and drop across. If you split your screen, you can drag and drop across into your Insight Timer course, and then upload your audios. It's really, really simple to do. And it's MP3s. Yeah. Hopefully, Sarah, that's helped you with seeing that statement. Yeah, so everything that you're creating is private to you until you click the final button and say, yes, I want this to go for approval. And everything does need approving. And as I say, it's about 5 days, but bless them, this is how nice they are. They even send an email out if they're being delayed with approval. They'll send an email to say, we're really sorry, but we're running late. We've had a lot of submissions or whatever. And, I can't just don't know if there's anybody else doing that kind of thing where they're actually so civilized. Yeah. Oh, Etsy. Oh, yeah, I've heard not good things about Etsy. I don't have stuff, so I don't have to deal with Etsy. So your live events don't really need to be approved. You just submit them and you're away. They don't seem to need to be approved, because as soon as I schedule one, I go to that page and they're there. Doesn't seem to take a period of time. I think it's just a click of a button at their end. It's not like the courses where they will actually listen to the content and check that it's all well laid out. Right, donations are donations. Wendy's asked, donations split with you and Insight Timer or all to them? No. So Insight Timer spent a lot of time negotiating with the people at Apple about not making our donations an in-app purchase. You know about the in-app purchase thing? That if you've heard about that. So that's why if you want to buy an Amazon movie on Amazon Prime now, you have to go and do it on the website or open a web browser on your phone, because because Amazon have stopped you buying a film in the Prime app, because Google have started to charge Amazon an in-app purchase fee for that, which obviously Amazon don't like. They're all like fighting with each other like children on a playground, aren't they? So Insight Timer battled hard with Apple to have us receive 100% of donation, and Apple went back on that deal. So if somebody makes a donation to you on Apple take a chunk, not Insight Timer. If they make a donation on Android, because a lot of people are listening on their phones, you get all of it. Some of it used to go to Insight Timer, but they gave that up. And then they fought Apple, and then Apple went back on what they said. So the only nice people in the whole wide world in technology are on Insight Timer. Everybody else is inherently evil. Not really, but I record my tracks on Audacity, which is a free audio recording system. I use this little creature. So this is a Blue Yeti mic. It's a good quality mic. It's about £100, I think. But then recently I bought this. Made a massive difference. This and the pop screen came as a little set. So it's if you look up pop screen for Yeti mic, so it's just a little foam hat, probably just serving the sound now, and the pop screen. And with that, I don't have to do very much audio editing at all when I've finished. And on the course, I would show people how to do all of that. So good question, Paola, about having your course written. It depends on which way the wind's blowing, really, for me. So there is some written content with the course because each lesson, so there has to be a description, a title, a subtitle, a description, and an audio description for the course. So you need to have a script for you. I usually have a script for my audio description just so I get in everything I want to say. And then for each lesson, there has to be a title, a description for that lesson. It's kind of up to you what that is. And then there needs to be a question. And there's no wrong answer question. So the questions are 4-part answers, like, you know, A, B, C, D. And then but none of the answers can be wrong. It's like a reflective question. So I usually have 3 answers plus all the above, which is clearly the right answer. So it's fair. So what I've gone through various iterations of my process, and that's the fun thing about once you kind of get into a groove with it, you can decide if you want to just like sit with something and just speak it out for 5 minutes and then go back and write a title for that lesson and a description and your questions. You could literally write the whole thing you said and then read it like a script, although I'm not sure that sounds very kind of natural. The other thing I've sometimes done is I've just put like 5 bullet points down of what I want to make sure I cover in each lesson so that the lessons kind of flow and connect with each other. It's a really good idea to have that flow and connection because you want people to stay on the course and finish it, because your payment, of course, and more importantly, your impact, but also your income is affected by that flow, and keeping people in your lesson and also getting people to interact. So it's kind of a process where you'll find your own groove with it. You know, it depends really what side of the bed I get out of as to how much I just go with kind of what is downloaded or what is what's, you know, or write it more. Just depends what I feel like, really. I think the percentage that Apple take is 30%, Sarah. But yeah, just on the donations, because none of the rest of it is an in-app purchase. It's just those donations. So yeah, it's very naughty, I think, anyway. I think it's very, very naughty indeed. I'm going to put the Insight Timer Incubator in the chat, but I will drop that in an email tomorrow. So, Ellen, brilliant question. So you receive payment per play. They don't have to finish the course, but obviously the more lessons they do, the more you get paid. And I think the more engaged people are with the lessons, the more likely they are to interact. And it's those interactions that obviously pay the bigger bucks, really, is if you're answering questions all the time. I've had a busy month this month. The anger course in particular, I've had a lot of interactions on. So that'll probably bode well. So Wendy, where does the rest of the donation go beside the 30%? To you. It goes to you. Insight Timer don't take any of the donations. When you donate on Insight Timer, when you listen to a meditation, I think you get an option to donate an extra bit to Insight Timer if you want to, but the initial donation that somebody chooses to make goes to you. When am I doing the incubator? Thank you, Georgia. So it's starting on the 6th of February. So that's a couple of weeks from now. And it'll be Tuesday evenings. Probably should say all of that stuff. You see, that's me I'm forgetting to ask for stuff like, you know, the selling thing. Yeah, so it'll be starting on the 6th of February. It'll be Tuesday evening. So it's the same time as this, really. And it will be a weekly one of the main things that it will give is to not put too fine a point on it, folks. It'll give you a kick up the backside to get this done, because I've sat through all sorts of different bits of stuff to do with Insight Timer, and I've seen people just not get it done. And really what I'm hoping for in that 3 months is that you will get your profile done, your first track 2 tracks uploaded. We will then, as a group, support each other by going in and listening to those tracks and reviewing them, because they must get reviewed before you can then move on to the next stage. There's kind of a waiting period, really, once you've got your profile and those 2 free tracks up, until you can actually access all the other things. We will then get your first course written, and the workshops that I'm going to do, the ones that are actually the workshop ones, are going to be, we're going to sit there and we're going to actually do it. So I'm going to say, right, this is how to do it. And then you're going to go off for 10 minutes and do a task. And then we're going to come back, and then we're going to do a little bit more. And then we're going to come back and do, and I'm going to actually handhold you all the way through the process, because once you've, and then we'll do the same with setting up your first live, what to say on your lives, how to help those people move through to be clients, that kind of thing, how to get your bio set up, how to make sure your link in bio is effective, what to do with people once they've joined you on Insight Timer, how to move them on to the next stage, that kind of thing. But one of the main things will be the accountability and the hand holding and the love. Because I'm gonna love you all to a complete Insight Timer profile in 3 months. I'm not going to beat you with a stick, or I might do, but I'm going to, that's the aim. I want to see you with a whole, a whole Insight Timer profile with all those pieces, so that then you've got all the bits you know how to do it on. You can go off and start to play with it, because that's one of the things I've loved about it is, there's not many people out there, and I'm not going to tell you we'll talk about strategy and we'll talk about what we might do going forward. But the main thing is that you will have all the pieces you need to get cracking and get on with it. And then you'll be able to go off and play. And for me, business should be playful and fun and experimental and enjoyable, and not this awful slog that it's being made out to be. So if we miss a class, you can catch up. There will be recordings, Georgia, of all the classes. There also will be accountability. There'll be a space for us to be, to share, and probably not on Facebook. You'd be surprised to hear. It'll probably be a Telegram group or a WhatsApp group or something like that. Yeah, Jer, you already said, is there a way to get notifications when comments come in? You have to go in. Yeah, you just have to go in. The only thing I ever get notified about is if somebody puts something in my group. It's really weird, because that's the place I spend least of my time. I just go in. So I just go in about 3 times a week. So if I've got a course that's just gone out, so in the first 7 days of your course being released, Insight Time, I give it a push. So you get a lot of uptake to start with, which is really good. And then you get a lot of reviews, which gets people on there and taking part in your course. And on your courses, if you go to your dashboard, there is there's a red dot if your course. So, when I showed you my profile at the left-hand side, there's always a red dot on something that needs your attention. So if you've had a donation, there'll be a red dot. If you've had a review, there'll be a red dot. And if there's somebody's asked a question on your course, there'll be a red dot. They don't always show up. So every so often I do just go through and make sure that all my courses, course questions have been answered, because I don't want to leave people hanging. But yeah, you have to go in and do that. Oh, bless you, Georgia. Thank you. It's just wonderful to have a woman lead. Thank you. How long will the sessions be? So the taught sessions, there'll be 4 taught sessions throughout the program that are really going to have you go through, and they will be a couple of hours. And and then there will be the in-between sessions. The rest of the sessions will be more like accountability. Have you got it done? Have you got any questions? Do you need some help? Do you want us to help you write that? It'll be that kind of more supportive thing. And thank you so much, Wendy. I shall see you in there. How exciting. Thank you so much, Sarah. So has anybody got any questions? You can unmute and ask questions actually as well. It's been, I feel like I've not heard a voice in the last hour and a half or hours or so. Has anybody got any other questions? Do I have a maximum number of people on the incubator course? That is a really good question. I don't think I've set a maximum. I think I think it'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. I'm just going to go with that. I haven't set a maximum. I never even thought about that. but what, yeah, we'll work. I'm sure it'll be. I don't think. Oh, I don't know. I just haven't done that. So it'll all work out fine. Tends to be my view of life these days. Any other questions? Anybody got any other questions? Amanda.
Hi, Claire. Thank you so much. That was so brilliant. I loved everything. It was so informative. Would you just remind me, I know you did cover it, but what are the criteria for being able to go live? What do you have to get in views and stuff before you can go live?
So you need to have, obviously, complete your profile. You need
Yeah,
to release 2 free tracks. They need
right.
to be rated, I think it's a 4.6 or above. And then there seems to be just this waiting period that seems to be different depending on how busy they are and things like that. So once they've approved those first 2 tracks and your profile's actually live, the key then is to get loads of people listening to those first 2 tracks, which in the incubator we'll do that with each other. You know, we'll make sure that we're supporting each other and getting each other's tracks listened to and reviewed. The reviewing of them is really important. So and then so it takes about, it seems to take up to a month depending on how busy they are, and then once that's all sorted and you've got your average reviews right and everything, then you can go live and then you can create courses. So it's almost like that's the gateway. That's the
Yes,
gateway, is having those 2 free tracks and having them reviewed at a decent level.
got
And
you. Thank
then,
you so much.
yeah, thank you, Amanda. Thanks for being here. Anybody else got any questions? I think there might be some more in the chat. Oh, thank you, Nettie. I love it if people feel inspired to do this. Paola, that is a brilliant question. Well, yeah. Do you have an idea how big the German speaking part is on Instagram? I don't know, but they are aiming to become much more a household name across the globe. So I emailed them the other day. I think I introduced you to Isabella, didn't I, Paola? Well, Isabella was asking me, what about the French tracks? How do you find a French track if you're French? And so I emailed Insight Timer, and it's a bit of a faff at the moment. So they are, they are very good at receiving feedback. So I think as more people turn up and share things in other languages, they will have to make the ability to search different languages easier. It's a bit of a faff at the moment. You have to kind of go into your settings. I haven't looked at it on my own phone on the app. But you have to go in and you've got to set it up to show those languages, and then you will see those languages. So that's how I'll try and find the email, Paola, and I'll forward it to you, that has the instructions on how to see the languages, because it's I'll just write that down, because if I don't write it down I won't remember. Yeah, right, I will do that. I'll do that. Oh, thank you, Jane. Yeah, the back. You like to see my back end? I mean, I don't know what to do with that, Jane, really. um, does the income depend on number of followers? Well, it's yeah, partly, but partly not, because I know people who I've introduced Insight Timer to, who have released courses and done pretty well pretty quickly. I think there's a number of things that we'll be exploring on the incubator around the titles for your tracks and what are the keywords that are popular at the moment and that kind of thing. I'm starting to get a little bit more of a handle on what titles are popular and things like that. So that does make a difference, because if, for example, like stress, anxiety, sleep, they're really popular topics, but there are some other topics. Self-love's another really popular topic on there. Compassion. This is just off the top of my head. So if you like my anger course, for example, like who knew that was going to take off so dramatically? I nearly released it before Christmas, and then just thought, oh, it's going to land between Christmas and New Year, the boosting period. I'm not going to do that. So I held it back and released it in January, and that's really taken off. So again, there's a lot of playing about and experimenting and trying different titles and trying different course lengths. The minimum length for a course is 2 lessons. So you can kind of experiment, find a subject, think that's a good subject, play with whether or not that hits well, or do a free track on that subject, see if that lands, and then make a course. You know, there's loads of ways to kind of do your own exploring on there, which I think makes it much more fun than social media. Yes, I do cover how to structure a course, Jane, on the course. Definitely. That's definitely something we'll be doing. Step by step, we'll be doing that. And Wendy, 2 7-minute tracks could be a course. Yes, absolutely, it could. So that's a nice way to start. If you feel inspired about a particular subject, but you think, well, I've only really got 2 major points to make on this subject, then you can make a two lesson course if you want to. Sarah.
Yeah, just to say thank you so much. Did you say that there's a free? I was just in my brain because I like to think about the income side of things, not only from my perspective or your perspective, but actually from income timers' perspective. I was thinking if they got 25 million people who have all paid $60, or is there a free element? Did you say at the start there's a free element to Insight Timer?
Yeah, it's a freemium model, which means that there's a free part and a paid part.
Okay, so if people don't pay, if the consumer doesn't pay, let's say the person coming on there, do you still get paid if they listen to your track, or can they not? What's
So
the
they
difference? You know,
can't. So
okay,
if somebody's on the free model, the free version, they can only listen to my free content. They can't, it's like a paywall. So my courses and my premium tracks are behind the paywall. They can't get to them unless they actually pay. Although I think you can buy courses as a one-off, but I don't think anybody does that because it would not be good value, because you can pay for Insight Timer monthly and it's the same as the cost of a course. So nobody does that. So it literally, there's, you know, somebody has to pay, otherwise I can't access the courses.
right. But they can listen to free tracks, and you still get paid per play, per track,
Yeah, but
potentially.
as you saw,
Yeah, trying to understand it.
Yeah, it's a pittance. You know, it's a very, very, not all money is wonderful and I'm grateful for it all, but it's a
Yeah,
very, very small amount of money you get paid per play for the free tracks.
and they
But
can't comment either, presumably.
say that again, sorry.
Can't comment or give you feedback then either.
Yeah, they give reviews. Yeah, definitely, because that's how you have, before you can even do the courses or the free or the lives, you have to have those free tracks reviewed. So those reviews I showed you on screen, they're all some of those were my free track reviews, some of them were course reviews. So
Okay.
yeah, review. So you get paid.
People
You
that
get
haven't paid a membership can still make comments.
Yeah, they can still leave reviews. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I was just trying to figure out
They
how
can't get the same. So like on the courses, people tend to, they can review, you can review a course, but you can also ask questions during the course. So that's the difference. You can't ask a question about a free track, you can just leave a review. Whereas if you're through the paywall and you're accessing a course, somebody could literally ask me 7 questions on a course each. And as I reply to each of those questions, I will get paid for that interaction. So it really does depend on, yeah, it's just a different level of interaction that you get if you're in a course. If you've paid for the paid membership, the premium membership, you go through a paywall, and you can get a lot more attention from the teacher potentially.
So you'd have to stay on it like 24 hours a day then, because if somebody's commenting on something you've put on there and you don't see it and they pay you more
It's
for the
not social
interaction.
media, Sarah. No, it's just
I just meant if they were listening
yeah.
to your course at a time that suited them.
Yeah. So I just go in, as I say, I go in about 3 times a week, every other day probably. Don't go on at weekend.
Right.
There's no, I never feel any pressure for that. I do keep up with it because I think it's fair to keep up with people doing my course. I want to respond to them, but I don't feel like there's an expectation on that. It doesn't feel pressure.
Time.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, obviously, as it
Brilliant.
grows, it's going to increase time, but then there'll be increased income, and I won't have to do so many of any other things, I guess. So you feel like you'd like to create courses, but no idea, Vicky. No ideas. Something, if it's something you can do. I know you can, Vicky. Will I help with ideas and income? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, because the subjects we'll be looking at what subjects are popular, what research I've done around what subjects are popular and things like that. Jane, have a lovely dinner. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, premium costs £55.99 in pounds. in those British pounds. No, you don't pick your own pricing. You don't have to do any of that at all. How do you go about getting clients? Brilliant question, Sheila. So a few different ways. One of them is how you interact with people on the lives and inviting people for conversations. So you've actually got people there, you're answering their questions, you're interacting with them, you're saying things like, that's the kind of thing I help people with. You can direct people to your link in bio. So I have a link in bio, which can be a link tree. Mine is actually a web page, and we can look at designing those and what to have in them and things like that. You can have your freebie on there. You can get people onto your mailing list from there. Most of my new people on my mailing list now, apart from you lot, have come from Insight Timer recently. So there's all that kind of moving people from Insight Timer into the rest of your world. Curious about how many clients you might get from Insight Timer. So that's something that I'm in the earlier days of. The focus for me has been around gaining the passive income, but more and more I've just signed a couple of clients in the last week or so that have come from Insight Timer. And an unexpected, I've got a new leadership client who came from Insight Timer, which is great because he's like he's just sub CEO level, and he's just so open. So it's not just the number of clients, it's the people, the type of clients. They are the people who are already ready to see something different about life because they're already on there and they're already looking for help. Any more? You've had some. Thank you for all your questions. They've been
Wait, I've got a question.
Great.
I believe you said that so on the live, you said it's just the live, that there's no ancillary materials, no PDF sharing or anything like that. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, well, on the courses, the only written content is the written content that appears on the course platform. So there's a title for the course, and then there's a description, and then the questions. On a live, there's nothing. So there's just you, just like going live on Facebook. You just turn up, you have to talk to your own face, which is always fun, I find, and so disturbing.
I love that.
Yeah, I just love chatting to myself for an hour. But you get used to it, don't you? And then there's a comment stream down the left-hand side of the screen, and a screen where you can see the donations coming up and you can see people's questions. And that's where you can get into some really good interactions with people and answer their questions and talk about how, oh, that's that. I say things like, do you know what? That's a brilliant question. That's just the sort of thing that I help people with. That kind of thing. So you're encouraging them to understand. And obviously on the lives, there's all sorts of different things about what you say and what you share and how you introduce yourself, and how you connect with people. I find the lives just beautiful. I really just love them. There was a live just before Christmas I did, and I think everybody was crying by the end of it. It was just such a lovely connection. It was so emotional. There were people just saying, I'm crying too. And the comments were just going mad with everybody was like so like deeply moved by what we talked about. Yeah, it was lovely.
So in the comments section, are you able to comment back, or it's just incoming from them?
You could do, but I tend to do it verbally. I
Yeah.
tend to talk. I mean, because as you can hear, I'm good at that. So,
Well, yeah, no, I'm just wondering, like, if I wanted to, like post a quote for everyone to look at, because that's the way I do some of my stuff, and get a discussion started.
Yeah, definitely. And I do things like I post book titles. You can't post links. You can't post anything that directs people off the platform. They're very, very clear about that. But you can, and even if like sometimes somebody will write YouTube in the comments and it'll get taken off. The AI does that. It just removes it because they don't want you to be pushing people off the platform. But for example, a book title. So obviously I've mentioned The Enlightened Gardener and things like, I've put Sydney Banks's name enough times in the chat. So I'm kind of, you can share stuff like that. Definitely.
Claire, thank
yeah.
you so much. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Really appreciating getting so much value out of this. On the lives, then people could really be joining anytime that you're live. There's not, right? So like if you introduce yourself or introduce a topic and then they join 5 or 10 minutes later, they get what they get. They get the feeling in the room.
Yeah, they get the feeling in the room. Absolutely, Ellen, they get that. And you know, sometimes I kind of reiterate the subject. I do tend to say, you know, so remember we're talking about such and such, and I keep trying to bring it back to the subject, because otherwise I can go off on one as well, you know, and I usually do get distracted at some point in the live because of the questions that are coming in. But yeah, you can, yeah, they kind of get what they get. But I do find that, I mean, a couple of times, maybe 3 times during the session, I point people towards my profile, I invite them to follow me. I ask it, you know, I kind of nudge them in that direction, because once they're following you, then they get all your updates and everything that you share. Whatever. Could you do lives and no courses? You absolutely could, Vicky. Absolutely. Could be. It's a lovely way to get started. I did a lot of lives before I did courses. And then I kind of connected the two together. So I did lives that were about my courses so that I could nudge people towards the courses. There's also, you can do whatever you like on there, really. As a teacher, do you get the premium, or you would have to pay for that, Sheila? Yeah, because you don't pay to be a teacher on there. You don't pay them a penny at all. So you're already getting a massive amount of benefit from being on there. Thank you, Paula. You can share, yeah. So Al, you can, in your bio, you can have a link in bio, and that can be anything really. I mean, it could just be your freebie. If you really want to get people onto your freebie, you could just make that link your freebie. It could be your link tree. It could be a landing page on your website. It could be, and what you kind of just have to be careful what you say. But you can direct people to check the link in my bio kind of thing. So you can nudge people in that way. Jackie's mind is buzzing and she needs to sit and digest it. Bless you. Thank you, Jackie. I think she might have gone already. Yeah, any more questions?
Can I just pick up quickly on what Jer was saying about, obviously you can't share physical links, but there's no penalty if you direct people verbally on your live to your products, are there? There's no, if you've got products relating to what you're talking about, are you allowed then to sort of direct them to your Etsy shop in my case, or something like that, or my website? Is that allowed, or is that not
I'd be, you have to be careful, really.
Right.
So you can say something like, I have something that can really help with that. Check out my link in bio. And then you would have everything on that link in bio that people do visit it. I know they do. I know they visit that page from Insight Timer. So yeah, you've just got to be careful. They don't, you know, they do, like everything, they want the people to stay on the app. They don't want people going off the app. And so they can. I've had one wrist slapping because what did I do? They suddenly messaged me. I think I sent them my booking link or something, and they wanted me to. So we did that another way. It's in my link. You just have to say go to my link in bio and book there, because that's where I have my book a free call and my freebie is on there as well. So
thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. Any more for any more? Yeah, definitely. You can definitely promote your book. Yeah, if you say you can put a book title in, of course. And Tanya, your book is very good. I highly recommend Tanya's book, actually. It's going all shy now, look. Oh, thank you, Vicky. That's really kind. You see, Vicky recommends it too. Oh, thank you so much, Vicky. And thank you, Gail. Thank you so much. Is there any more questions? Because I don't want to leave anybody hanging. Of course, you all know how to get hold of me in some way, shape or form, because we're connected on social media, lol. We should be connected on Insight Timer. So if you have any questions afterwards, please do let me know. And I'll send you out the recording yesterday. Yeah, because I'm going to do some time traveling. It's been a long day. I'll send out the recording tomorrow, and there will also be the link to the course if you're interested in that. So thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Take care, everyone. Lots of love. Bye.